Hello and welcome back to Shokuho, and we're here attacking the Oda clan once again because they obviously declared war against us in the previous episode. So this is going to be very, very interesting because obviously I've never actually fought against any of these Hatamoto troops. They're going to be pretty intimidating in my opinion. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. I'm obviously just gonna level up a couple of people first, and we're gonna go straight on in. I'm not even gonna bother waiting for the starvation because this is a really good opportunity for me to see what these Hatamoto units are all about. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find too many of them in this garrison. I think that they only have like 2 or a handful at maximum, but it's gonna be an opportunity nevertheless. And it's going to be something that maybe is going to be helpful to us in the long run. Because then we're going to see, oh, actually, these guys are not that bad. Or they're very bad. And indeed, they are going to be, pretty difficult for us to deal with. But hopefully not. Hopefully we're going to be okay. So I'm just going to take out my little gun here. Do a little bit of damage. A little bit of damage with it. Oh, I'm actually surprised that that did not hit. I thought I was going to get him. Ah, there we go. There was a Hatamoto unit. Okay. So, as far as I can tell, they're not going to be too damaging. I mean, yeah, as I say, I mean, we can't really, take anything away from that right now because most of the people that we're going to be facing right here are obviously going to be militia and regular units, and we're not really going to be facing a huge amount of the same kind. But if we do find that an army has a significant amount of them, then we may have cause for concern. I think that's one of the things that we just have to take into account. It's nothing we can do right now about it. We can take a look at their stats, of course. We know what their stats are like. They have a very, very good stat line, and there's very little shall we say, that we could even do against an army entirely comprised of these guys. But that's the issue, whether there are going to be any armies that are entirely, consisting of these guys, because it's going to be, well, I would say maybe, I mean, I doubt it's going to be impossible, but it's definitely going to be kind of unlikely, I guess, right? At least I think so. Yeah, I think it will be kind of unlikely. And so far, things are not going too badly. One thing we have to take into account here as well is that every single time we take any kind of damage, it is pushing us further and further into the realm of possibility that I will just take some random damage from a headshot here or there, and that's going to spell our demise. Obviously, those kinds of things, they just happen, you know? You just can't really prevent them most of the time from happening, unfortunately, so it may very well be inevitable, but I would like to try and prevent that inevitability for as long as possible. Whoa, okay, that was actually really damaging. There was actually someone there that was really professional. Let me actually see who that is. Where is he? Because he was wearing some very cool armor. There he is. There, that fellow right there. He was... I think that was him? I am actually unsure now. I'm actually unsure. No, it's this one, I think. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure who that was, but he was absolutely slaughtering me. He did a huge amount of damage to us as well, which was really very well done. However, as you can quite clearly tell, we are going to be achieving victory here. So much so because we did gain 214 kills. Just bear that in mind. We did get 214 kills, which is quite good, you know, to begin with. Not bad, you know, it beats our average at the very least. You know, our average is around 170 to 180 kills. So, you know, I'm very pleased with that, and especially considering we have now achieved victory in the castle as well. Now, our friends did decide to retreat, of course, back into the keep, but that's okay. We could just auto-resolve against that, and then we can actually take a look and see, we did get a Hatamoto unit that is now available for conversion. Very nice. Okay, I'm very much looking forward to that. And let's get a couple of extra people here. There we go. Very nice. Get them converted to our side. Yes, exactly what we like to see. And otherwise, I will just take what we can here. I don't think I'm getting any explosive ammo, am I? No. I think it's going to be a little bit unlikely for us right now, but yeah, anyway, there doesn't seem to be anything else here, so I'll just take, oh wow, basically nothing. Alright, basically can't take too much armor, which is absolutely fine. I don't really mind about that too much. And then we have some devoted Odachi. That's very nice. They're going to do a great job, or at least I hope so. And we'll level these guys up into bowmen. I think that's probably seeming pretty decent. And we're just going to be allowing this to go to the vote. It's probably going to go to the person nearby here. And we do have a siege going on at Sanbon Matsu. It's kind of a bit weird. I'm not entirely sure how we even took that. But apparently Jinzaburo took it or something. So I guess that's nice. Otherwise, this is where we currently are, by the way. Yeah, kind of trying to expand outward from Ichijodani, so hopefully we're going to be able to... Actually, wait a minute. Do you think we can even take this? We may, in fact, be able to. The question is, if they're going to allow us to do that without them coming over with their big stonking army and trying to murder us, it could very well be that they might try to do that. So, the question is, are they going to go into the garrison? They don't seem to. Kind of interesting, alright. Genjiro was actually taken prisoner. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Anyway, let's give this to the guy nearby. He is very close to us at the moment. And they actually took Mizue Castle, which obviously is not exactly great. You know, I can't really help that, though. If they have a significant amount of people, I'm probably just going to go and do something a bit more efficient with my time. Okay, so how much do they have? 11 days. Not a terribly big fan of that, but they are. This guy is calling for an army, so I'm going to assume that the people that took Mizue Castle, they are probably going to make their way over here, and they're probably going to try to interfere. Alright, so we're being attacked here by a, well, a foe with 625. I'm actually quite surprised. I thought it was going to be the other guys that were going to attack us, but apparently these fellows wanted to have a peace first. So it's going to be kind of interesting because we've had another guy kind of loitering around the area, recruiting people from the nearby villages and things like that. And, well, we don't have to worry about that. No, we don't have to worry about that one bit. This is going to be relatively simple for us, most notably because they have decided, well, shall we say, they haven't really decided on anything, but basically the enemy is spawned so far away from us here that we should be completely fine. Let's just see whether that's indeed the case. Let's move our cavalry over here. There we go. Let's try to get our forces into a decent enough position. Let's move these fellows just a little bit behind us here. And let's get these guys a little bit further over this way. There we go. And then we should be absolutely fine. Yep, as you can see, it's starting. The massive amounts of kills are starting. And now let's see. Really? That was a miss? Okay. Kind of surprised about that. And I believe that is the first wave eliminated already, and we've only lost about 30 troops. Bear in mind, we do have a pretty, I'm going to say, not a very large army. I mean, it's quite surprising, really, that I say that, because we do have 320, which, all intents and purposes, is actually pretty sizable. That's quite a good, quite a good size of, a force to pretty much do, well, anything we like. But it feels, I don't know, it feels a lot less than you might think in many, many situations, which is quite funny. But yeah, anyway, massive amounts of damage being done right there. Very much what I like to see. And maybe we're going to be getting a little bit more as we go through here. I got to be a bit careful of the pole arms. They're going to just absolutely destroy us if we run at full speed here. Technically, I would have already died if they'd be trying to attack me, but thankfully they don't seem to be focusing on me in this particular case, so I am very pleased about that. It would have been absolutely awful otherwise. We would have gotten completely and utterly massacred, but that is fine. We're okay. As long as we can leverage our ranged troops, that's all we need to do. Now I'm just going to get this out, going to do a little bit of damage with it if I can. Nice. There we go. I really want to get to... I really want to get to 225. Unfortunately, the gun... it sometimes lets me down because I aim completely wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I say, oh yes, the gun lets me down because I aimed it wrong. Yes, indeed. Yes, exactly. I'm blaming not the tool, but I am blaming myself. Indeed. Because that is exactly the problem here. Anyway, we'll try once more. See if we can maybe get a nice little shot. Nice, there we go. Unfortunately, that was an Ashigaru, and it did not give us enough. Did not give us enough experience. And another one. Unfortunate. There we go. We finally reached 225. Absolutely fantastic. Let's go into an auto-delegate now. And I am just going to move in to these enemies and just absolutely slaughter as many as I can. And there's the victory for us right there. Very, very nice. Decisive victory as well. Very, very little casualties that we sustain there as well. 7 casualties only. Very good. And this is exactly what we need to do, you know? We need to do this every single time. Now, I'm actually wondering, do we want to let these guys go? Do we want to let them go for a potential of being able to try to convince them to join us later on? The question is, would they do that? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Because the thing is, I don't really care too much if I have to fight them again. Yeah, sure, it is going to be a bit of a pain, considering the fact that the Oda clan are rather large, but the exhaustion is kind of going to take care of that anyway. So even if the worst were to happen, and, you know, even if we lost a bunch of fiefs and stuff like that, the exhaustion would take care of that. To a certain degree, of course. Not sure. You know what? Let's let them go. Let's let them go. And I don't think Nobunaga is here, by the way. So yeah, we did not fight him. But we fought some other people, you know, not too bad, not too bad. We'll take some samurai here for the most part. There we go. Let's get that. Level these friends up here. I'm trying to level them up into Odachi users. That's kind of what I would like. And there we go. Okay, fantastic. So we can now continue with the siege, and unless the other army actually wants to have a piece of us, you know. If they do want to have a piece of us, then I wouldn't actually mind that. I think that's fine. That would force a little bit of exhaustion out of them once again, and as you can see, we have 5 days worth of food still remaining. Ah, we've got a significant change in the political standpoint here, or shall we say the, what is it now, the, what is the, what is the word I'm looking for here? I'm looking for the, well, it's not status. I'm looking for, I can't think of the word. Never mind. Doesn't matter. The fact is, the Miyoshi have declared war against us. Stability. That's it. That's what I was looking for. There we go. I knew it was an ST sort of thing. I couldn't think of it. Anyway, yeah. So not the status, but the stability of the region has now become further, well, disrupted by the Miyoshi now deciding to declare war against us. So we're at war against 3 different, very, very large factions. We're at war against the Mori, we're at war against the Oda, of course, and we are now at war against the Miyoshi. So that is that is pretty harsh, to be honest. That is pretty harsh. Anyway, we are going to now move in to this town siege. And let me see here. Let's see. There we go. Let's just get all of those. And yeah, we got 589. You know, 589 is a pretty significant amount. You know, so should be okay. It depends on the layout, of course. If the layout is decent, then I shouldn't have too many problems. But obviously, it is going to be. Oh, this is a new layout. We've not done this layout before. Okay, I'm very much looking forward to this. This is so exciting. These are the kinds of moments that I always look for in these kinds of mods. Whenever there is a total conversion that comes out, I always think to myself, I hope they have unique sieges. I hope these sieges are dramatically different from the base game. And if they are dramatically different from the base game, I hope that they are significantly different from each other. And this mod has that in spades, as you can quite clearly tell. We have had, what, five different siege maps so far, which I have to admit, I think is absolutely fantastic. I think that's so good. The more, the merrier, to be honest. And look at what we have here. Are these cherry blossoms, by the way? I actually don't know. But whatever the case, we do have literal petals coming from the sky here, or coming from the trees, and they're just floating down very, very poetically as we make our way towards our inevitable doom, which is quite funny in itself. But yeah, now we are going to murder that guy. There we go. I didn't actually spec my 225th point in guns, which is probably what I should have done. Let me see if I can get this guy. He's a little bit elusive. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. There we are. Fantastic. Let me try and see if I can reload. That guy's still trying to shoot me, but I can't see him for some reason. Yeah, I can't see him, but he can see me. That's kind of unfair. Oh, well. That is the point, isn't it? That is the point of this particular siege layout. It is, of course, making it very, very difficult for us. Unfortunately, oh yeah, I am not supposed to be the one to attack this gate. So I should probably just let my battering ram do its thing. And then I'll make our way in here. Oh yeah, it's this one. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I remember something similar to this in Gekkokujo, which is the warband mod set in feudal Japan. And I remember this having I remember that having a similar layout to what we're currently doing. So this is going to be very interesting. Wow, this gate is significant. Very, very solid. If I get shot here, we're obviously not going to have a very good time, but we're doing a pretty good amount of damage. Okay, now let's try to be careful. Ow. Alright, 300 damage. 300 damage to the head right there. Alright, what we're going to do is I'm immediately going to get out of there, and we're going to be coming back in once we've restored ourselves. Ah, there we go. So we finally caused the Mori to give us war reparations. I was going to say reparations. No, let's not do that. Let's say reparations. Yes, indeed. And we're going to be getting 1.4 million, which is... It's just amazing. That is so good. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I literally almost choked. Can you believe that? Okay, yeah. So, we may indeed choke when we go into the siege in just a moment, actually. But in a different way. In a proverbial fashion. Yes. And we do have Yajiro over there, and he might actually do something. I'm not entirely sure. I actually have no idea what's even going on in this section of territory while I'm taking this, because it's taking me such a long time to actually do anything here, which is really, really bad. But, well, we can just try our best and see what happens. Obviously, guns, they do so much damage. If I was going to get shot in the face by a bow all these times, I would have actually lived with a little bit of a sliver of HP. Whereas, with a gun, it just immediately kills you. Okay, so we're through the second gate once again, and I'm going to try not to die this time. Obviously, if I get shot in the face by a gunner again, there's not much I can do, but we're going to very much try our best here to inflict as much damage as possible and give our forces the best possible chance for success. As we always do. You know, that's what I'm always trying to do, of course. But you never know. Maybe we're going to have one of those hilarious moments where, out of nowhere, we just get shot. Actually, I have no idea where to go now. Is it this way? Yeah, yep, I think it is. I'm going to try to destroy the gate way ahead of time here. These gates are actually much more well fortified than the normal ones that we have faced many times before. So this actually speaks volumes for how extremely dangerous it is for me to come here by myself. Let's try not getting shot in the face. There we go. Okay, I did actually take a headshot there. Unfortunate. And there's the headshot. Inevitable, inevitable, but that's okay. We've already eliminated 85 troops, and my forces have should have an absolutely easy time getting up here and eliminating the remaining forces in the garrison. Because we've actually done a lot of the hard work for them right there. I actually did manage to eliminate 2 full waves of enemy reinforcements, which made a huge difference. And as you can see, there's the victory for us. And we ended up only losing 14 troops, which I have to admit, I think that's great. And now that means that I can convert the rest of the prisoners, and then we're all good. And I gotta say, this is probably one of my new favorite siege layouts. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience the whole thing this time around, and hopefully we're gonna be able to in the future. So let's take a look at what we have available here, and then we're going to see if... oh, yeah, let's just make sure that we actually do this. There we go. Okay, we get 100 influence for that. Very, very nice. We're once again just going to let the vassal go. I think we're just going to do that for the Oda clan specifically, just because I want to see. Maybe we're going to be able to convert a couple of them to our side. I don't know whether that's really going to make any difference, to be honest, but... we're going to try it nevertheless. Maybe it's going to be kind of cool. Anyway, just going to take all the loot. Not even going to bother, you know, separating it or anything like that. I'm not going to take this. I'm just going to give it to someone nearby. And then we're going to sell a couple of things. I'm going to assume that they're... yeah. Oh, they have a load. They have a load right here. This is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so let's just sell everything that we can here. And I got to be a little bit careful that I don't sell my... you know, large Ozutsu thing. We want to make sure that that does not get sold by mistake. And let's get rid of all of that. There we go. Alright, so do I have a lot of food? Oh, I don't even have a lot of food, hilariously enough. I only have 500, which is... oh, that's still 29 days worth. That's actually quite a significant amount, so I don't think we really need to worry too much about that. Anyway, we're just gonna plonk a lot of money in there. Make sure that the new owner has an easy enough time. And there we have it. Alright, let's see who it is going to be. No, we seem to be... oh, no, oh, well, actually, no, never mind. We are having some issues over there. I'm not entirely sure which army it was that managed to take all these fiefs back from us, because we already eliminated an army of 600. So it's a bit strange. I'm a little bit weirded out by that, but I guess, well, you know, not much I can do about it. We just have to kind of wait and see what happens. But we do have a perk point to spend in guns, so I should probably do that before we move on anywhere else. And let's have a look. Additional 30% chance of knocking back enemies with a heavy shot from your gun. 30% chance, okay. And then we have a placeholder here, which clearly, okay, well, clearly they didn't have anything for this, which is unfortunate. I think it would have been pretty cool, because hammer rounds, not a terribly big fan of this. However, this is very, very cool for, as you see here, if you are the captain of your formation, then 10% additional damage with guns. I mean, obviously, if you're playing with the Saikai like I am, then this is obviously extremely, extremely good. Otherwise, we're going to wait here for a little bit of time, restore ourselves, and then move on. Alright, so we're up against an army, or should I be more accurate here and say 2 armies. One has 600, the other has about, well, one has 650 and the other has like 250 or something like that. So we're basically up against 900 and over troops. So this is going to be very interesting because I'm not a terribly big fan of this. I was actually not wanting to get into a battle with both of these. I wanted to get into a battle with one, and then the other one basically came out of nowhere and pretty much decided that they were going to engage us. So not exactly great, but I'm going to try my very best here. And yeah, do no damage, because of course that's what we do, you know. That is what we do. We don't really have to worry too much, though. As long as I don't take too much damage here, there's always more opportunity for damage to happen. Alright, so we've already lost a significant portion of troops here, and I'm kind of wondering whether we want to try and escape this or whether we want to continue. I think we will continue this, because the thing is, we can still try to get away, quote-unquote. You know, we can still use the try to get away function here with minimal losses. Well, at the very least, minimal losses, and I think maybe it might be an idea. The question is whether we want to do that or not. I'm not sure, because we are inevitably going to win. It is just a case of how many losses we take, and do we want to take those losses? That's the question. Alright, so I did actually have to try and get away from that battle. I did end up killing about 200 troops, and actually having a pretty decent time. Unfortunately, I got shot from across the map once again by a gunner, and well, we're gonna have a little bit of an issue there, but it's okay, because look at this. We have injured a rather significant portion of this army right here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our way in there in just a moment. I'm just gonna literally recruit a couple of extra people here before we go and attack these guys. I am having a slight herd penalty, which is what I was actually attempting to deal with when I got attacked by them to begin with, so that was obviously not exactly great timing, I guess, to a certain degree. Anyway, 0.65. Yeah, that really does make a big difference. I don't think these guys actually have any money in here, so me selling these horses to the marketplace is probably not going to be particularly useful, but I am going to do it nevertheless. Yeah, we're going to have to get rid of quite a few of these. Yeah, loads in actual fact. Yep, quite a few more. Not these sumpter horses, though. Thank you very much. Okay, there's the herding. That should be done now. Yep, there we go. And we are technically losing 31,000. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a look and see if there's anything here that we could potentially get. I could go for one of those shields and just give that to one of our companions. That might actually be the play here. And I think that might be what I'll do. So we're going to be buying this one. We'll give that to our wife, actually. There we go. That's, I mean, I think that's good enough. I think that's pretty decent, right? I think that's pretty decent. Okay, so now we are super quick. I should be able to catch up with these guys relatively easily. Hopefully. No, they're still moving faster than I am. I think that's probably because of my wounded troops. Unfortunate. Alright, so we recruited a bunch of extra people and indeed converted some prisoners, because obviously I needed to try to reinforce our army to a decent-ish degree, you know, because otherwise we're going to be on the weaker side, and we really don't want that, do we? No. Now we are going in against one of the armies that was attacking us before. We're going to try to take a little bit of revenge here, even though revenge is not particularly healthy. Let's face it, it's not very healthy, but it is a dish best served cold, which indeed very much depends on your dietary requirements, because maybe a cold dish is not good for you, but generally, in this case, we're going to try our very best to make sure it is cold for them. Cold steel, I mean. Oh yes, the coldest of steel, even though I'm not entirely sure. I don't know whether we have that. Do we? Do we have that? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, hopefully these guys are going to be coming over here. Are they actually waiting? That is hilarious, actually. That is so funny. Usually these guys are the most aggressive things I've ever seen. But in this case, no, of course, that they're going to, you know, stay far back. That's always very interesting to me. All right. Let's see. Okay, are they in range now? Are we actually in range? I don't think so, actually. Okay, you know what? I'm going to be a little bit sneaky here. We're going to be a little bit sneaky. We're going to do some damage. Nice. Okay. Did that actually force them into coming over here? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Kind of hope that I can bait them a little bit. As you can see, we've got a really nice line of sight with our forces here, so it would be wonderful if they would actually make their way over here. I highly doubt they're going to. Yep, they're not. Okay, that means I'm going to need to do another little bit of a bait shot here. There we go. Is that enough? That's the question. Kind of hope it is. We got some cavalry. Oh, no, that might be enough to force them into a charge. It might be. Or not, as the case may be, because apparently the cavalry are the only ones that are actually wanting to attack, and the infantry don't seem to be doing that. Which is very surprising, considering they're the ones that we actually want to have attack. You know, we want the bulk of their army to come over here and actually attack us, but no. They don't seem to be willing to do that. Ah, here we go. Now they're starting to. Okay, wonderful. Okay, now we don't have to worry too much then. And I believe that is indeed it. Let's go for an auto-delegate just to make sure that we have everyone in range at all times. And we'll just do a little bit of a speed up, and our horse will spin. Our horse will spin in a stationary fashion right there. And yeah, we're going to have a great old time, because there's only 400 people here, but I feel like they have basically nothing. Their forces... Clearly, the only reason why they were able to force us into a retreat before is because of numbers. That was it. They just had the numbers to be able to do what they did. Thankfully, we have now taken revenge, and that is wonderful. I love it. And they did actually manage to take the town, by the way, that we just took, the town of Odani, and I'm very much hopeful that we'll be able to take that back. I'm probably going to take that back off screen because we've already seen that siege. But yeah, I'm kind of a bit intrigued as to whether the exhaustion is going to kick in, because the exhaustion is probably going to kick in any time now. And if it does, we more than likely will have the opportunity to reclaim Odani without me having to do anything, which is quite interesting to me, and kind of makes me think, maybe I should just wait, you know? Maybe I should just wait, and I should go to a different siege and see what happens, you know what I mean? Maybe that would be the best course of action. I think that might be quite fun, so maybe that's what we'll do instead. Who knows? But yeah, let's have a look. Any horses? Yeah, we do have some horses, but I think if I take any of them, we're probably going to be having some problems with herding, so I will not do that. And as you can see, the exhaustion is at 94. And yeah, I'm hopeful that actually what I'm going to be able to do is catch up with one of these vassals before they're able to enter any of their fiefs. Unfortunately, this guy does... Oh, no, he's actually trying to raid one of our villages. Big mistake, buddy. All right, this is going to be terrible. This is going to be terrible for him. He really made a huge error right there. He was like, oh yes, let me go and raid this, even though there is actually someone right next to me. I don't know why he decided to do that, but yeah, alright, okay. I gotta give it to him, I guess. He's either brave or very, very dense. Or, well, maybe a bit of both. Who knows? But what I should do is try to attack these guys if at all possible. They're going to go straight on into the town, aren't they? Yep, they of course are. Okay, let me have a look here. Who's this? Okay, let's try and get him. Yes, we did. Nice. This is perfect. So we're just going to auto-resolve against this guy as well. This is an easy victory for us. And we're just going to, once again, just going to let most of these guys go. I'm not really, you know, super hard done by. I'm not really thinking to myself, oh yeah, I really want to get these guys, you know. I'm not really caring about that too much. Okay, so we could get horse archers, or we could get, you know what? I'm going to get some bowmen. Some Hatamoto bowmen sound pretty fun. So that's what we'll do. Let's get some of these guys leveled up. Yeah, one of these. Some gunners, and there we have it. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Okay, so this has definitely triggered the exhaustion now, and I am betting on them giving us Odani. So that is very much a case of me being a little bit, shall we say, risky. Okay, yeah, that is a bit risky, because I could have taken this back technically, but he is giving us 1.7 million in cash. And I'm going to say, yeah. Going to say yes for that, 100%. Because the thing is, we have to think about it from this perspective. Even though I'm currently rolling in cash and we've almost got 5 million in gold, this doesn't actually matter that much in comparison to how much money our vassals have. Vassal money is actually kind of interesting and a pretty in-depth subject, and something that I personally believe you really need to take care of them. You need to take care of your vassals a great deal, especially their economic strength. If you do that, you're going to have an overwhelmingly powerful force with which to conquer the world. But if you don't, all of your guys are going to be running around with about 50 troops, and they're going to mostly have volunteers, and it's going to be terrible. So yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.